This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, let me know once my screen is visible for all.
Yes, it is visible.
Yes, thank you. So, as you all know, that today we are covering ETL testing with Azure. Sorry, one second. Let me. Yeah, so we'll be covering ETL testing with Azure, where we'll be considering how to use Python, Data Factory, Azure Databricks, and various other ETL pipelines, especially for data testers. So this is our demo session for that. So before we start the session, like I would like to know the background of the audience that we have. So can everyone just quickly introduce yourself, like just give a background, whether you are a technical person, like whether you have any experience into ETL. Maybe by knowing that, I would be more comfortable while continuing the session. Over to you guys. So anyone can start. Who will start first?
Hi, I'm Manjeet, and I have 15 years of IT experience, but new to ETL totally. So I
Mhm.
wanted to learn something new.
Mhm.
That I wanted to join this session.
Okay, thanks, Manjit.
Hi everyone, I'm myself Sandhya. I do have 13 plus years of experience in automation testing, but these days ETL is also playing a major role in testing, so that will be great learning for me.
Thank you, Sandhya.
Yeah, I am Nandish. I have around 6 years of experience as manual and Selenium automation tester, new
Mhm.
to ETL testing.
Okay, great.
Hi, myself Prasad. I am a manual tester. I am holding 6 plus years of experience in manual testing related to web application, mobile applications. I have joined this
Mhm.
demo to know more about the next stage of database testing.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I have
Thanks,
one more
Prasad.
doubt related to this course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as a part of ETL testing, the automation part will be also covered in this course beyond
No,
the ETL manual
automation will
process.
not be. Automation will not be covered. This is not completely I can say ETL manual. Maybe once we go through the session, you will understand how important is Azure and the other cloud technologies that we'll be discussing throughout the session. But we will not be completely focusing on automation side, I can say.
Yeah, is there any automation process related to the ETL testing? Is there any that kind of automation?
Automation, yeah, we can, but there are opportunities as well. But knowing this particular cloud side of ETL, like cloud services, how to use cloud tools into ETL testing, that would be like more kind of, you will be able to easily adapt into automation side. So once you get the basics of how to use a cloud environment and capture that, you capture your knowledge into ETL testing, then it is easy for you guys to adapt into automation side of ETL testing. Maybe once we get to know what is data factory, what is Databricks, and the Python side of we are using basically pandas library for Python. So once we start using that throughout the course, you will come to know how easy it is, and it is actually more related to automation side, but not completely, I can say.
So, will you be introducing the tools that will be used for automation, or even that is not there?
No, automation tools will not be there, but you can use data factory, Databricks, and pandas library functions involved in pandas library to actually create automation suites, or you can work on automation once you are aware of these tools. maybe you right now you don't have a background about these tools, right? So once you get into that, you will get an understanding, you will get basic knowledge of all these tools. Maybe after that, while doing a project also, you will be easily adapting to that automation side if required, if your project demands. So that is completely different. But if you understand this particular course, understand the latest tools, these tools, so it is easy for you to even adapt to other cloud environments like AWS or GCP.
So is it something related to data analytics?
No, it's not related to data analytics. It's completely ETL testing.
Okay.
One more query, Sai.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a manual tester, how the ETL testing course will be beneficial to me, to my career? Could you please explain me about the ETL testing, and in which stage it will be more helpful to the QA things?
Yes. Yes. So basically, maybe I will take this topic at the end, but since you have already asked, I can say that it will be beneficial in your career growth. You can uh, like have a session, like you can enroll in this course and then understand on the go. Like you can have the hands-on sessions, practice it from your end, and practice it during the sessions. Clear your doubts, and you will be able to attend interviews related to ETL testing, and then you will be able to get high paying jobs out there in ETL testing space. So basically you can switch from manual to ETL testing. So if you know manual testing, you know that means you are aware about testing, right? So it will be easy if you are following the course and then practicing on a daily basis and clearing your doubts. It will be easy to switch to ETL testing role.
Any mocks will be conducted once after the completion of course?
Yes, obviously. We have actually we will be throughout the course we will be delivering working on real-time scenarios, business problems. We will be solving that problems. We'll be building solutions on top of that, and then we have on a daily basis. Like once we are into the course, we will have hands-on sessions as well, separate hands-on sections for each topic. So maybe I will discuss all those things once I start the session. Maybe if anybody wants to introduce, you can basically have that in the chat box. If you have, maybe you can have your experience mentioned, and if you have an ETL testing background, just mention that, or else just mention your technical background. Okay. So I think
Yeah, hi Aarti and Vikas here.
yeah, hi Vikas.
So yeah, I have close to 10 plus years experience in as a QA, and so I don't have any background in ETL testing. So a lot of job opportunities do ask about the ETL testing and ETL pipelines.
Yeah.
Nowadays, a lot of Azure services are closely related to that, and I guess data engineering is very closely related to ETL testing and ETL pipelines. There also something similar is covered. So yeah, so that's the reason I'm having an interest in pursuing this course.
Yeah. Thanks for knowing that. Thank you. Yeah. So yes.
Hi, my name is Shalu.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have more than 10 years experience in both manual and automation. Currently working as an automation test engineer, and recently I have worked on project in ETL. So the thing is, we have two databases, and one is MongoDB and another one is MySQL Server. So we are using Databricks, and we are taking the data and is stored into Databricks, and we are manual testing on everything. So that's why I'm interested in this course. I want to explore more about in the ETL testing. So
Yeah, great
also we
Mm.
also are we going to cover the Databricks also?
Yes, we'll be covering that.
Okay.
So everything
Okay,
that we are going to discuss, like everything mentioned in the title of this PPT, we will be actually working on that in testing perspective.
Yeah. Also, the thing is, basically ETL is two or more database, and we are collecting those information from the database and combine into a data warehouse.
Yes.
Then data warehouse means if you are using cloud, we are using Azure or Azure or some other cloud service, and we are combine these data and dump into Databricks.
Not exactly. So basically, Databricks is something where we are applying the complex logics before we load the data into data warehouse. So
Okay,
Databricks
it's a
is a powerful
temporary.
tool. Hmm.
It's what is the difference between Databricks and data lake?
So data lake is where we dump all the data, like from different heterogeneous systems, we will be getting the data, right? So from all the source
Okay.
systems, we will be dumping the data into data lake, and we'll process the data by applying the complex logics that will be performed in a Databricks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, shall we start the session? Maybe I will introduce myself before I start the session. So my name is Arati. I have around 9 years of experience in ETL testing. So I have actually worked on data ingestion, data integration, and data migration projects on healthcare domain, retail, health insurance, and banking domain. So I was actually working on Azure Cloud and even on-premise data using Informatica and Teradata. So Azure Cloud was like I was working into Azure Data Lake Storages, Azure Data Factory, Databricks, and all these tools throughout one of my project. So it was like a kind of a data integration project where we were actually using data coming from multiple ERP systems like SAP, Oracle, and all. So I have worked on SAP system, Oracle system, SQL Server databases, and MySQL database as well. So over the years, I have trained more than 100 plus professionals like freshers and people with career breaks, and I have trained over 40 plus batches like for people with multiple experiences. So actually I have helped them get into multiple ETL testing roles, like for fresher levels as well as for experience levels. So I hope this course will also help you guys to move your career from automation or from manual to ETL testing, basically into cloud side or maybe into ETL testing itself. So yeah, looking forward to connect with you guys and share my knowledge. Thank you all for joining today's session. So I will just start the session.
Arati, quick
Yeah.
question. So
Yes.
you have been using a few technical terms, right? Like data integration and all. So I think
Yeah.
most of us doesn't have the knowledge about it. So it will be really helpful, if you can elaborate those terminologies in future.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously. Maybe before we end the session, anyway, I have a slide for that. So I will explain that. If I forget, please remember me.
Sure.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you.
I one doubt, one doubt,
Yeah.
final doubt.
Yeah.
So
Prasad.
before starting the ETL testing course, we need to know the basic knowledge of SQL queries or no need?
We need. Obviously, I will be covering that also in this session.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. So yeah. So this slide is about ETL testing, right? So you guys may be wondering what these pictures are. So basically, ETL means extract, transform, and load. So extracting the data from multiple sources. As you see here, a person is actually purchasing vegetables and groceries for cooking. So while he purchases, he or she might extract or collect the vegetables or groceries from a particular shop, let it be a supermarket. And also we need spices to add on to the cooking side, right? So we need spices, obviously. So along with vegetables or not like meat or groceries, we will also include spices, right, before cooking. So once we collect the raw materials, we will transform them. So we will transform in the sense, when it comes to cooking, we will cut the vegetables, chop them into the required sizes, slice it or chop it, and finally once we are ready, we will basically cook the cook the vegetables, right? So while cooking, we are actually transforming. We are transforming the vegetables or the raw materials that are collected. We have already cleaned them, we have cut them, we have chopped them, and after chopping and cleaning and chopping, we are adding spices on top of it to get a flavor. So this transformed, what we say, food, or the cooked item, is what we call as a dish. So this dish is now served to the table. So this, while saving the dish to the table, we are actually presenting, right? So while presenting the food means, here in data warehouse terms, we can say it as we are loading the data. Like, we have already transformed the contents, what we have already collected from the supermarket, we have transformed it and we are loading it into the table or the data warehouse. So that is basically a ETL testing test. So wherever we have data coming from multiple systems, like as in the same example, data is coming from multiple systems, we will combine that data, will transform it based on our requirement. If we are preparing a paneer butter masala, we will collect the required vegetables for paneer butter masala, and then we'll prepare the food, we'll add the spices, and then finally we will serve it. So that means finally we will load the plate we can see. Okay, so that is how ETL testing does. So I will show a typical data warehouse example here. So here, if you say, in the same terms that we did explained in the previous example, here we have multiple source systems. So these are data sources. So in ETL, I will be mostly using the term source and target. So from where we are getting the data, that is called source. So where we are moving the data finally, that will be our target. Okay, so here in this screenshot, or in this picture, you are seeing data coming from multiple sources. It can be a CRM data set, it can be from billing system, it can be from an ERP, it can be any normal flat file, or it can be any other type of data source. From wherever we are getting this data, we will perform the ETL operation, and then we'll move the data to data warehouse. Okay, this is a basic data warehouse, normal working of a data warehouse. And from the data warehouse, we will collect the data, use it for reporting, we'll use it for analytics, or further we will use it for data mining. So this is how a typical data warehouse works. Okay, I think I will pause for a minute, and maybe you guys can ask questions if you have any doubts in between.
Hi Aarti, Megha this side.
Yeah, hi
So
Megha.
Aarti, from data warehouse, we collect the same data and load into reporting analytics or data mining, or these all three will take different data from data warehouse and do the purpose.
Yeah, so it is basically this database is having a collection of data which is cleaned and transformed. So whether it's for reporting or mining, we can filter the data according to our requirement. Let's
Okay.
say this data warehouse is having sales data for last 5 years. So reporting side may be using only the last 1 year sales data, but data mining will use all 5 years data, where analytics will use it for comparison of last 2 year sales. So it depends on the requirement.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, hi Arti, this is
Yeah.
Ipsita here.
Yeah.
I
Hi.
have one question.
Mm-hmm.
Hi. So during data transformation, as till now, as I have knowledge that we use few tools like Informatica or SSIS or Talent. So
Mm-hmm.
are we going to use anything here in this course?
Yeah. So Informatica we will not be covering in this session because I think we already there are multiple courses out there for Informatica covering Informatica related ETL working. So, but here this course is specifically for the cloud side of ETL. How we can utilize the cloud services like Azure and like you similar way you use the Informatica tool, the same approach we will be using it in the Azure side. So maybe there are many people out there like who are looking to jump into ETL testing, but the job requirement is like specifically for certain niche skills. These niche skills include Azure, AWS or GCP experience in ETL. So that is why this course is specifically designed to consider Azure side and apply the ETL working knowledge into Azure cloud side.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, if there are no more questions, I will move on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Venkatesh here.
Yeah.
As you explained in the example for reality, so I mean, that was in a good and we understand, okay. But when you are coming to the next picture, I mean, which is a
Mm-hmm.
technical like
Mm.
data warehouse and right.
Yeah.
So what is the CRM and building and ERP data? So can you give me some example and try to be how it is going to be data warehouse it is stored and reporting how it will be going to visible.
Okay.
Can you give me a small example?
Sure. Okay. So
Yeah.
as I mentioned, sales information. So let's say sales of a car manufacturing unit is being stored in this data warehouse. So once if we say that is being car sales information is present in this data warehouse, obviously we need data for the information about the car, like the model name, model description, how many customers have purchased a specific model, in which location this is manufactured, and whether any particular model has been decommissioned. So like that we need such informations, right? So from where are we going to get that information? The actual company will be sharing as a particular database, their existing database, where it will hold these information like how many customers have purchased their model, I mean a particular car model. So all these informations are considered as a source data. So here in this picture we are seeing CRM, billing, ERP, etc. Right. So CRM is basically a customer relationship management model or a database, we can say. So in CRM is applicable in all domains, whether it is healthcare, health insurance, retail, or sales, or any other domains. CRM is a main component. So because in every domain we have a customer, then only the transaction will happen. So here this customer relationship management table or the database will hold the customer specific information. So this is where we will get the customer information. So that is one source. Next is the billing. Let's say this particular customer has purchased a particular car model on 2023. So that information is coming from this billing database, and it will have the price and other details as well. Similarly, this ERP system, maybe ERP is nothing but enterprise resource planning. So it is kind of a like we can say an existing there is a proper like existing representation. So we can use an ERP in any domains. Like we can use an existing ERP like Oracle or SAP, and we can use it in a banking use case or healthcare use case or any other use case. It will have basically, let's say, in terms of sales, it will be having inventory details, like how many products got manufactured in 2023. So all those inventory details, purchase details, everything will be there. There is a structure for inventory management, purchase orders, everything in ERP. Only thing is this ERP where we are using that area will be different. So this ERP system data will have the information about, in our case, the example of car sales. This ERP will have the inventory management and the purchase details of the car and the flat files. Sometimes some information, let's say even in our daily life also, we are maybe 5-10 years back, we are approaching a hospital. Most of the times we will be filling the forms by our hand. Nowadays we have more advanced technologies, but in earlier days it will be like a form filling approach, right? So most of the information will be in papers or it will be in file. So similarly, in terms of database, there are informations which are coming out of this database. Such informations will be coming as flat files. These flat files can be CSV or TXT or any other formats. So all these informations are considered as source, and then we'll use this information to perform the ETL operation. We will extract this, then we will basically transform it based on the expected output, like based on the requirement. Then we load the data into data warehouse. This is how it works. I hope that is clear. Of if any doubts are there, then I can add more.
Yeah, got it. So here, Python, how it's been helpful? I mean, what
Yeah.
kind of it is data science related, or how is it like?
Yeah, so by looking at this picture itself, you might be wondering the data is coming from different sources, right? So while data is coming from different applications or sources, it is very difficult to analyze the data, like since there are complex transformations involved and there will be billions of records coming from all these systems. So maybe by development it is easy, right? They can write a query and then they can load the data and we can test it in data warehouse. But how we test it when it comes to billions of records? Because we have to we have to connect with this multiple source systems, right? So in that case, if we want to analyze the data, if we want to see the statistics of the data, let's say sales happened for a particular year, we can use a pandas library that is basically utilized for data analysis. We can analyze the data which is in the middle layer. So that is where the
Okay.
Python and pandas comes into play.
So we need to get the knowledge on the pip installation and that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically,
Got it.
once you get that
For
knowledge.
reporting, can you explain any example like from data warehouse to reporting or data mining? So
Yeah.
any example like how it is being structured and any user how it is being expected.
Yeah. So in this example, let's say this is a project that you guys are working on. So as per your project, your client needs a report that needs to be generated to analyze the sales done for a particular car model over the years 2023 to 2024. So this report should hold the sales information covering these 2 year ranges, right? So that is how reporting works. It depends on the requirement, and the data is already present in data warehouse, but again based on the requirement we have to modify the data, like we have to filter it out and project the useful information.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay, we'll move on to the next slide. Okay.
I have a doubt.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Shalu.
Yeah. Sometimes the data need to be converted into some encrypted model. How then that time how we will perform testing on that?
You mean data masking?
Yeah, using SHA-250 something like that encrypted into, because sometimes the
Yes.
medical data are more critical, so that so they will use encryption technique to convert those data.
Yes.
So that time what?
Yeah, so basically, that comes to data masking side. Data masking is again another area inside ETL testing. So when we have some protected information in our table, in any of our table, mostly for healthcare we have. So in such cases, data masking, for masking the data itself, there will be one, as you mentioned, SHA-24, SHA-2255, or some logic will be there, right? Or MD5 or some other logic will be applied. So that logic, mostly the client will give access to the testers to demask the data or decrypt the data and validate it. Or otherwise, there will be another way that the mask data will be decrypted in any other particular format. Like we have a particular information, let's say Aradi's name is masked as XXX123. So this XXX123, wherever a customer comes, this Arati will be showing us XXX123. So in that case, if customer is like they don't want to share the encryption code to the testing team, we can do one thing. We can do XXX123 as a another. We can apply another function to verify that wherever XXX123 is coming, a certain logic is followed. Such information mostly it will be provided in the mapping document or somewhere in your project, so you don't have to worry about that. But it's like we will be validating masked data as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Aarti, one doubt.
Yeah, Prasad.
Yeah, for performing ETL testing, the companies will maintain specific environment for the ETL testing like PT, performance
Sorry,
testing.
sorry, I didn't
In
get the
company,
last one.
yeah, in companies they will maintain some environments to do performance testing like that. For ETL also we need to maintain separate environment, or we can go do the performance ETL testing in the test environment.
Yeah, there are specific environments, like the lower environment is SIT. So where QA will be having access. So SIT is system integration testing. Once system integration testing is done, then we'll move the data to higher environment. That means the next higher environment, that is UAT, and then finally into production. That is how the testing works in ETL, test environments involved in ETL testing.
To do ETL, we need to maintain any environment like SIT, or we can use the present test or SIT.
Yeah, so that will be provided with from your project itself. You will have a dedicated environment for testing the data. There you can actually mock the data based on your requirement. You can basically play with the data, like in the sense you can have the required data to mimic the mapping. So most of the times the mapping logic will be one, but there won't be enough sufficient data to test that particular logic. So you have to generate that data. So that can be done in SIT environment.
Okay, okay. It means we can use the SIT environment for the detailed testing also, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Okay. Shall I move forward? Okay. So for cloud data testers, these days there is a growing demand. Okay. So basically, most of the projects are adopting into cloud technologies. That is why the demand for ETL testers remains strong. Particularly, the organizations are continuing to rely on data warehouses for their business intelligence and analytics. So I would say the ETL testing service market report, it is projected to grow significantly over the years. If you say here from 2024, it is approximately 1.14 billion US dollars. It will be reaching by $3.42 billion by 2033. So the market for ETL testers will be growing. And while it is growing, the demand for ETL cloud testers is also growing. So basically, ETL tester should have strong SQL skills, knowledge of various ETL tools, not just Informatica, data stage, or ab initio or any other tools, we should also be having experience into cloud tools. Like if you know one cloud tool like Azure, then you will be able to relate the same tools which are available in AWS or GCP, because Azure will be having its own dedicated storage location, uh, like Data Factory or Databricks. The similar ones will be present in AWS and GCP, Google Cloud Platform. So if you know one cloud, it is easy for you to jump into other cloud. So if you are a person who is aware about how to perform ETL testing on a cloud platform, you will be like asked to move into another project where AWS is utilized, because people knows that you are already good in Azure, so they know you will be able to migrate into Azure, sorry, AWS or GCP. So that is how this course works. If you learn one particular cloud, it will be easy for you to jump into any other cloud for ETL testing. This data growth, in the sense the cloud computing market is booming. That is where the demand for cloud data testers are increasing. The growth of cloud data testing is expected to be faster than the traditional testings that includes Informatica or other tools, because in these days companies are adopting cloud platforms. That is where data testers require skills in areas like cloud computing, which involves AWS, Azure, GCP, and people like, if there is an existing project that is implemented on Informatica or any other platform, but the customer or the client confirms that they want to move their existing uh, environment to a cloud environment. That means from on-premise to cloud, there should be somebody skilled who has to test this data movement, right? So that is where the cloud data testers demand increases. So if you know a particular cloud tool, you will be involved in that particular data migration project. So these are basically the niche skills. Throughout the course, we'll be covering these niche skills. As I discussed, Azure, Python, Pandas library in Python, Databricks, Azure Data Factory, and basically SQL as well. So if you are good in these niche skills, then there is a high chance, not just a high chance, for sure you will be getting high paying jobs. The compensation will be high, even though if they in the job postings they mention there is a target for this particular years of experience, but if they demand, okay, this particular candidate is having these skills, then you can ask for more pay. Then career ways also you can grow, as well as your compensation will also increase. So in both the ways, it's a good opportunity. Probably I will show some of the job openings. So this is an Azure ETL tester opening, where they are asking for experience in end-to-end ETL data pipeline QA testing in Azure cloud. So as some of you have already mentioned in the start of the session, you guys are already aware these days people are looking for these skill sets. So you might be thinking that, okay, Databricks is something very difficult a tester can do. Mostly data engineers will be working on Databricks. Yeah, exactly. Data engineers will be working on Databricks and Azure Data Factory. But as a tester, what they are building, we should also get an idea, right? So in order to debug the pipelines or the logics that are built on Databricks or Data Factory, as a tester, we should understand what they are building. If we know how to debug, then only we will be able to survive in the testing. Same way, if we know these tools, then only we will be able to survive in the cloud testing phase. So this is another job posted in outside India. So this is also demanding, especially the ETL data warehousing, advanced SQL, and programming in either Java or Python. This doesn't mean that you should be 100% efficient in Python programming. You should have knowledge to understand and implement the Python libraries which are mostly used for data analysis and data cleansing. The job title says ETL tester, even though they are asking for some automated things. But if the job title is specifically for ETL tester, these kind of jobs you can also apply and see like whether at least you are able to crack through the first round of interview. So there are other jobs as well, same way where they are actually asking for cloud experience. Strong understanding of cloud platforms such as either AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud. So this is basically something very important in the future and in the present as well. So after seeing this data warehouse, I see some of you are having doubts. So what about seeing this picture? Are you able to understand after going through this first picture, are you able to connect anything? Or maybe somebody can unmute yourself and speak up. Is it complex for you guys to understand this picture? If yes, maybe you can say yes, or you can quickly mention yes in the chat box as well. Yeah. So yeah, this might be a little bit overwhelming, right? Because seeing this for the first time, you might be thinking like this is something very complex, but actually this is nothing but a data uh, migration project where we will be having the data coming from SQL Server and other databases. This migration service will migrate the data from these two source systems to a single source, that is SQL database in cloud. This cloud symbol indicates the cloud SQL that can be Azure SQL. Okay, and apart from these two sources, there is another two sources from where we are getting the data. That is semi-structured data and unstructured data. So these two data are structured because they are stored in database, but these are semi-structured. So this is being served into a Azure blob storage from where the data is actually transformed or maybe modified, and then this is moved to Apache Spark, or maybe we can say before moving into SQL database, there are some transformations involved that is being performed in Azure Spark, Apache Spark. So this movement is being orchestrated by Data Factory, and from Apache Spark, all the transformations are completed. So this is being ready to. Why this transformation is involved? Here we have structured information. Here we have unstructured or semi-structured. So before moving into the structured database, we need to make this unstructured data also structured. So that is how this transformation. ETL doesn't mean always the business requirement transformations. It is again like the structured or unstructured data, making it equivalent. That is again a transformation. So here this case, it's like converting the unstructured to a structured format. And then for having this thing to happen, we are orchestrating, or basically we are connecting the links using Azure Data Factory. Finally, we are moving the data to database. So database is the storage layer. So here source, this is the source. Then we are processing it here, and then we are storing it in SQL database in cloud. And finally, anybody can consume it. It can be for reporting, or it can be into any other UI or any other services. So now what you guys think, like the first look at this picture and after explaining, are you guys able to relate it, or still if you have any doubts you can ask?
While converting the semi-structured data into Azure Blob, so are we going to convert these data into a CSV or some other format or JSON format?
That is up to us. Like mostly we can have a common format for semi-structured or unstructured data or different format, but finally while moving it to the blob, it should be like from blob to Apache Spark will do the transformation to make it a single format. It can be CSV or JSON or anything.
Okay, okay. The migration for migration from the SQL server, we are running as a seeder for that.
Sorry, we are running as
we a seeder file for this for
okay, yeah.
migrating. Then
I didn't get you. Feeder file
no
as sorry, I
for
didn't get you.
normally we are for transforming SQL server to from the SQL server we are converting data into a SQL database. For that we are using any seeder file or directly we are transforming.
Directly, because data is available in SQL Server database as well as from a different database. So these two structured database, we are utilizing it and storing it into a single cloud storage location,
Okay.
cloud database. Because something which
Okay.
is outside of the cloud, we are bringing it into the cloud.
Yeah, we are not using the SQL database instead of SQL database, if we are using MongoDB, so how we transform these data into Mongo? Then we need we need a conversion is needed there.
No. Basically, Azure supports almost all the commonly used databases. So there is a
Okay.
connection for MongoDB as well. So we can connect MongoDB by choosing MongoDB as one of the source database. Then we can connect to that, and then we can get that information and move it to the SQL cloud.
Okay. Then that means the from SQL server we can directly transform the data into MongoDB as well.
That also can be done, but this particular picture is just saying that the data is coming from SQL Server and other databases. This other databases can be anything.
Okay, got it.
Like that means it is a structured information that is coming from this side.
Okay.
From the below we are getting unstructured information. Yeah.
Okay,
In general.
but yeah, migrate. Okay. We are using a migration service to convert these data into SQL Server database.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, okay, good.
Hi, Aarti. I have a
Yeah.
doubt. Here from semi-structured and unstructured data, in Apache Spark, we are applying the transformation rules, right?
Yes.
In database migration service, how transformation rules will be applied?
Sorry, in database?
Database migration service, how the transformation rules will be applied?
Okay, that is basically a service utilized because we are getting structured information from different databases, right? So this is just a service. So to migrate from one database, from on-premise database to cloud premise, we are basically using one service. There is nothing to do complex things in here, like similar to the Apache Spark. There is no such complex logics involved in this part. This is just a service to interconnect between this source and this destination.
Okay.
This is just like a connector you can think of.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically why I introduced this screenshot, this picture in this slide is most of the ETL courses are designed to think in this typical data warehouse structure. Data will be coming from different sources. ETL will be performed and moving to data warehouse and using it for different purposes. But ideally in the cloud, there are multiple tools involved. So if you want to jump your career into cloud ETL testing side, you should be aware how things are working in the cloud. Then only you will be understanding, okay, this is how data is coming. I should be testing this layers, the next layers, and the upcoming layers. So basically the project architecture should be aware. Even as a tester, you should be aware about the project architecture. Then only you will be able to write test cases, prepare the queries, and do the validations. So that is why I have included this picture in this slide. So this is just a simple thing. This is just moving the data from different sources and combining it into one cloud data source and utilizing it for various purposes. This is not the actual ETL flow. Data pipeline is something very huge. So this is a simpler one, I can say.
Arthik, just a question here.
Mm-hmm.
In case of unstructured and semi-structured data,
Yeah.
how do we actually have a process to make sure, to validate the data integrity before and after?
Yes. Yes. So, so from the picture you can see that this data is moved to the blob storage, right? So in the blob storage, if data is processed correctly or not, that we have to validate. So there is a data factory involved. That means data factory is just to move the data from blob to the final SQL database in the cloud. So during the movement, there should not be any data loss or data missing scenarios or data mismatches or something like that, right? So we have to first, as a tester, we have to anyway write a query to validate it. But apart from that, you should be checking the data factory, the flow involved in the data factory, understand how data is getting moved from semi-structured, the source to the destination, and you have to understand and debug the data factory pipeline. Basically data factory, we have pipelines, so that pipeline should be working as expected. That should be one of the scenario. And apart from that, we should be manually checking at least a couple of sample records for semi-structured data. If it is working as expected, then pipeline will be succeeding, otherwise pipeline will throw error.
Okay, will we cover this part and later
Yes.
after?
Yes,
Oh,
yes, we'll be covering. So why I have included data factory and Databricks is like, as a tester, daily data engineers are using these tools, data factory or Databricks, right? So they are writing some logics, developing some pipelines. But in case if the pipeline fails, if we don't know how to debug and how to report that as a bug, then it's actually, as a tester, we are not utilizing our skills to understand what is happening in the project, right? So throughout the course, we will be focusing as a cloud ETL tester how we should understand these tools and utilize in our daily testing activities for debugging and reporting, and even for uh, technically developing our skill set. Yes. So throughout the course, we will be using this. First, we will be going through the SQL sessions. After that, we will be interacting with the Azure services like Azure Databricks and Data Factory, and mostly the storage accounts. Storage accounts is Azure ADLS. Azure ADLS, we say, that is Azure Data Lake Storages. So these are the three services that we'll be mostly covering throughout the sessions. So I will quickly open my, this is a course curriculum. So first 3 weeks we will be covering only the ETL testing fundamentals and the SQL sites. The first week we'll try to cover the key concepts of ETL testing, Azure fundamentals, and cloud data architecture. Like we have just seen the cloud architecture in the PPT. So this is one of the cloud architecture, right? Similarly, we will go through some other uh, well-known architectures, and we'll identify how we can understand different architectures and understand the data integration or data migration methods involved in that. So we'll discuss all those concepts in week 1, and in week 2 we'll cover SQL basics and advanced. So we'll start with SQL basics like data types, everything SQL, basic SQL commands. So we'll cover all those things. Then even the conditional logics and functions, string functions, state functions, case when statements, everything we'll cover. Then we will move on to SQL joins and aggregations. Joins, mainly we have inner join, left join, right join and all. So we'll cover those joins and aggregations. Then during this session, we will have one example to work on. Then after that, the next day also we'll be practicing the same topic, so that you guys will be having more exposure to the same topic. So from day 7 onwards, we will start the actual hands-on. So every day we'll be covering one or the other SQL topic. Then we'll have the hands-on on the same day, plus a extensive hands-on on the next day. Like that, we'll be covering advanced SQL topics as well. So in these days, in interviews, they are actually focusing on advanced SQL. So if you are someone who is good in writing advanced SQL, then it is easy for you guys to crack the interview. So then up to week 3 we'll cover SQL part. Then from week 4 we will start with Python and Pandas. We'll cover the basics of Python, like variables, loops, functions, the data types and file handling. So this is required before we go into Pandas. Then on the next day we will cover Pandas library, how to interact with it, how to utilize it, what are the functions that is utilized. So this is like similar to SQL, but if the data is in a different environment, like one database is available in one particular server, the other database is hosted in a different server, then we have to validate the data from first and the second data set, right? So how will we do that? If we are able to write a Python code to interact with these two different databases hosted in two different servers, then Python Pandas library will help you to sort out many problems. Like we'll be able to filter the data set, group it, sort it based on the mapping sheet. Otherwise, we will be able to query one particular database one at a time. The other database data set will be able to query in the second database. So we won't be able to compare both of this. But if you are using Pandas and you writing a Python script, it will make you to analyze both the data set. So that is where the use of Pandas comes into picture. Then mostly CSV files or Parquet files are utilized while handling or maybe when data is coming as source. Most of the times it will be either CSV, and while dealing with the data inside cloud, some of the CSV will be converted to Parquet files and stored. So how to read, how to debug, how to write into CSV or a Parquet files we'll be covering in the next session. So once this Python Pandas is covered, we will move on to Databricks and hands-on. So we'll cover Databricks, how we can work on a notebook within Databricks and all those things, setting up everything we will cover in that. How we can write SQL queries, how we can utilize Pandas in Databricks. All those we'll cover in this session. And definitely we will have hands-on sessions as well. The same goes for Azure Data Factory. Here also we'll explore Data Factory, we'll explore Azure portal, and then we'll have hands-on sessions. Then since we have already covered everything, in week 7 and 8 we will be mostly focusing on real-time projects. We'll work on real-time case studies, and then how we can utilize that in the daily project that we will cover in this session. Hello.
Yeah.
Is someone talking? Yeah.
Okay.
Hello. Harish, if you're talking, your voice is breaking in between.
Do we need Azure prerequisite knowledge, or is it fine without
No,
knowledge?
we don't need. So that is where I will be covering the basics in the first week session itself. Azure fundamentals I will be covering.
So we would be covering all topics related to how to upload the files and
Yeah.
how to transform them and all. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So week 7 is completely focused on real-time projects. Then finally in week 8, we will do a one final project which will have this entire ETL data pipeline involving Azure Data Factory, data lake storages, Databricks, Pandas, everything. So then we will have an extra session for interview tips and resume preparation as well. So this is how the course will be. And yeah, and I would suggest you guys to not create an Azure account until we reach this Python week 4 session, because basically this Azure account will be free only for 30 days. So I would suggest you to start after week 4, so that once we start with introduction of Databricks, you guys can create an Azure account and then we can work along with it. So anyway, during this data factory, we'll be exploring this Azure portal, but Databricks we can explore it separately as well. We don't need Azure account to explore Databricks. So you guys can create it from week 6 or from week 5 onwards.
Can we also get old class videos also access?
Sorry?
Do we have access to old class videos if we miss any classes on?
Yes, you will be getting recorded sessions. But I would
Okay.
suggest you should, even though if you are missing any sessions, try to practice it by your own, because otherwise it will be difficult to catch with the next sessions. But anyways, we'll cover. If you have any doubts, you can straight away ask during the session. Yeah.
Hi, what will be the timing for the classes?
At the same time. So regular classes will start from tomorrow, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. IST. So
Okay.
you can join the same time. So if anybody is interested in joining the sessions, regular classes is starting tomorrow, so you can complete the payment and start joining the sessions from tomorrow. For any payment related queries, you can reach out to Isha team, or there are admin team members within the WhatsApp group. You can reach out to any of them. So yeah, throughout the course we'll be covering all these things. Database mostly will work on SQL Server. Bonus, we have interview tips and resume preparation. Yeah, that's it.
How many days it will take to complete this course?
Yeah, this is a 40-day course. Every day it will be 1 hour session.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And if you guys have any other doubts regarding to the course content, or any other information you want to know more about the course, you can contact Kumar sir. Just note this number. I will ping it in the chat window. Yeah, just note it down. If you want it, I can show. I'm anyway showing it in the screen.
So you would be the trainer or Kumar?
Yes, I would be the trainer.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I think if there are no other questions, we can wind up. And please try to enroll the session and like uh, just start join the session from tomorrow onwards.
How many days totally?
40 days.
40.
Yeah. Thank you all for joining the session.